Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the LVLing Up Vodcast, where we have the absolute pleasure to speak with business owners who've done something strategic or out of the box to transform their business. I'm super excited today to get to speak with the founder of To The Moon Digital, which is a digital marketing agency for coaches and consultants. With that said, Alex Morris, welcome to the Vodcast. Let's jump right into it. Tell me about To The Moon Digital. How is it that you guys approach digital marketing? And then if there is a story behind it, how did you come up with that name for the business?
Hello, Ben. A lot to unpack on that one. I have to start from the beginning. So To The Moon Digital, as you said, we are a digital marketing agency for coaches and consultants. We do a combination of consulting ourselves, where we'll come in and help people with the marketing they're currently running, or we do full done for you as well, where we, me and the team come and take control of everything and really take it off your hands, which is pretty necessary with a lot of coaches and consultants where they're kind of a solopreneur and they've got to wear all the hats themselves. So that's To The Moon Digital. The name To The Moon Digital was I was jumpy on the crypto wagon, last year, around the same time when Dogecoin and all these meme coins and Elon Musk was tweeting about crypto, everyone's saying To The Moon. I was rebranding at that point, and there's a small story behind that. And so I wanted to jump in with an on-brand and topical name for the company, and it's turned out to be a really great decision because my branding is kind of done for me. It's space-themed, rocket ships and stars and all that stuff works really well in the context of growing a business, really.
I love it. I'm disappointed in myself that I didn't pick up on that connection to the crypto, because I am right into that field. So
yeah. Awesome.
Now, take me right back to the start. Was digital marketing always the calling for you, or did your career start somewhere else?
No, it was not at all. And I'm as surprised as anybody that I've ended up behind a computer all day. I left school with a really high marks. I performed extremely well at school and didn't care about school one bit. Really good academically, but no interest in it. So I avoided going to uni. I avoided all this stuff. I went into being a chef because I was like, okay, I can cook food. I like doing that and get paid for it. And I worked in hospitality for about 12 years all up until about 2 years ago. Throughout that point, I had a bit of an up and down journey of I kind of let the chefing lifestyle get to me, and I put on a bunch of weight, and I was drinking too much and smoking and not sleeping enough. And then a couple of my mates called me out on it, and I actually had a big weight loss transformation, which led me into realizing that the way I lost weight as a full-time chef who has to be around food and alcohol is not the same way a lot of people can do it. Calorie counting, strict routines. And I found a lot of parents were in the same boat. Your routine's not your own. So I actually started a nutrition and health coaching company. When I say company, just me, but a business to help people do that. Through that, I learned all the bits and bobs around marketing and online business and content creation, funnels, Facebook ads, writing copy, and I really enjoyed it. Then I just happened to do it for one of my mates. I think I was doing some sales on the side for him. He said, listen, you're not really good at this sales thing, but you do really good marketing. Can I get you to build some marketing for me? So I did that, and that was my first paid client completely by accident. Maybe 6 months after that, we found out my wife was pregnant with not one, but two babies at the same time. So twins on the way. And I realized I'm not going to be able to sustain all the health and nutrition stuff I do, because I was like visiting gyms, putting together recipe books, doing cooking demos, and all this stuff that involved me being out of the house. So I said, okay, I need to learn how to do a fully online business. And I got a second marketing client, and then I got a third, and it rolled into that. And it was a means to an end to be at home a lot while my kids were being born and that kind of thing. But in the end, man, it's really ignited some fire in me. I absolutely love it. I love the creativity of it. I love learning about the more data and logistical side of it, which never excited me, but it's really fun once you understand it. And now, man, it's just creating a fantastic lifestyle for my family and I, because I have far exceeded my old coaching income in very few hours a week. And at the moment, it's a beautiful place to be, man.
That's awesome. I can see a direct correlation between the personal transformation business and that. But did you find any skills from being a chef translated or helped in the marketing at all?
I got asked this last week for the first time, and I thought it was a great question, and it still is. So it's the chefing hospitality environment. Two things you learn really well. One is working fast and under pressure.
Yep.
And two is dealing with all sorts of people and really just being forced into growing some sort of social skills. Especially when I was working front of house as well. I used to own a cafe where I kind of did everything. You learn to read people, you learn to work with a very wide range of people. And so coming into business, I think my strongest suit would be at, finding common ground with people, making good relationships. And while I don't always make sales from all of them, I've got a pretty huge network now from, I think, the charisma and the confidence that hospitality gave to me. That's front of house. That's being a waiter, sommelier, manager. In the kitchen, it's a little less social in there. It's a little more, four-letter words and hot oil and pressure. But in those periods as well, you build a pretty thick skin. So I'm at a cool place where, although I'm online and I'm putting myself out there with lots of videos and content and ads, I really couldn't give a toss what anyone says to me or thinks of me anymore, which is pretty important in a kitchen where anything could be said to you in the heat of a service.
Yeah, building the thick skin probably adds on to that confidence. I've had experience in retail work, and any career that you have to deal with a wide variety of people, you're going to run into those odd ones. And I think that's necessary if you're going to start a business, to have experience with that and have that thick skin built up. That's cool. I wouldn't have guessed there was as many correlations between those careers, because they are so vastly different. Now,
very different.
Oh yeah. So how does digital marketing specifically for coaches and consultants, like you said, differ to marketing for a business that per se sells just a generic product?
Yeah, man, very cool observation there, because a lot of digital marketing companies, that's what they do. They do digital marketing. And I know that you are looking for people who have done something out of the box or strategic to grow their business. And mine was niche down into coaches and consultants.
Yep.
Because there's so many of them out there. So many of them are a solo, one man, one woman operation. And they're often a really great practitioner of what they do. They're an expert in their field, but then they've got to do all the stuff that comes with it, marketing being one of them, and it's a minefield. So the main thing that's a difference between doing what we call like an e-commerce business, selling a product online, and a service-based business like coaching and consulting, is that what we're trying to get people is not sales. We're trying to get them appointments and relationships. Because as a coach, you don't want people to just click and buy your services on the internet, because if you don't gel with that person, then you're going to have a terrible time with them. They won't get results. You won't get on well with them as a client. And the beauty of coaching and consulting, often you've got a relatively high ticket package. So one sale can be a few $1,000s in your pocket. And so you don't need hundreds of thousands of clients to do really well. You can have a core group of 12 clients and have a really great business. So for coaches, we aim to get people appointments, and that is taking it to the point where they have control over who they work with, they have control over the sale, and then they can use their skills as a coach to move them over that last step of the funnel, which is actually buying. For selling a product, you've got to rely on, your ad copy, your funnel, your imagery, to actually get someone to get their credit card and buy on the spot, which is really difficult. I really respect e-commerce people who do it, but I would love to see on all these big Stripe screenshots and these guys with their Lamborghinis, I'd love to see how much they're spending to make their 7-figure incomes. Because in my experience, it's going to be quite a lot. So honestly, man, we're going personal business when you're a coach or a consultant.
Yep. Awesome. Now, I want to jump into a topic that I'm sure you could ramble about for days, and that is lead generation. Every business at some point in time has struggled with generating leads. I know we have. I'm sure you experienced the lead generation hurdles at some point. What is the to the moon approach to lead generation without exposing too many of your secrets?
Oh man, I mean, we're really happy giving out secrets because no one ever implements advice anyway. So essentially, what we look at, which I think a lot of people don't look at when they're trying to generate leads for coaching or consulting, is they don't look at what they're actually asking their prospects to do. What are they asking their audience to do by opting into this ad and going to that next step? And often there's a lot of risk involved in varying levels, not for the business owner, but for the audience when it comes to an advert. So at the top of that funnel, which is kind of where a lot of coaches and consultants start, is the download my free resource, download my ebook, and I'll get your email address. And that's a lead. That's a quote lead. Very, very low risk for these people to download it, but you're going to get lots of people do it. You know, you give them a good lead magnet. All they have to do is put in their email address and they get something free. Awesome for them. So you get good quantity of leads, not necessarily great quality of leads. So then you have to work quite hard to get them, you know, to the next step. And that's where a lot of coaches end up, is they have to do endless amounts of DMs and follow-ups and calls to move someone from downloading an ebook into a sales situation. What a lot of other people do is they go the absolute other end of the funnel, and their ad becomes book a session with me, book a free 30-minute consultation or a 60-minute discovery session. And they're probably not realizing that that is an enormous amount of risk for the person booking. Because I don't know Ben, but if Ben says, book a 60-minute discovery session with me, suddenly I've got to give away my email address and my phone number. I'm going to give up 60 minutes of my time to hang out with a stranger. There's the potential I'm going to get sold to. There's going to be some human conflict. I might have to spill some secrets. Very scary stuff. And so most coaches and consultants who haven't had much experience in marketing are going to one of those two ends of the funnel. Our approach is just to build a marketing system that takes people from the top to the bottom without you needing to do much of the work in the middle. And the way we start that is just by going up the top of that funnel and finding an offer that people want, Because if you spend months building a marketing system and campaign with all these bits and pieces, and then the front end offer is no good, you've wasted a lot of time and money. So we literally go fishing within 7 days of getting a new client. We hope to have an ad out there, the very, very simple offer, such as, you know, download this perfect email template, you know, for photographers, or here's my free meditation for a coach in that space, that sort of thing. And then what you do is you go and you find out, do people want this offer? Is this working? If it's working, you go away and build the rest of it and move them down that funnel with email follow-ups, another ad. And eventually, when you say, book a consultation with me, these people have been warmed up by your marketing. So we actually just test every step of the way and start with a very, very simple ad. And by the end of it, we've got a fully formed kind of ecosystem that does the work for you. But we kind of expect people to do a few hard yards with us in the first month or so to figure out what works. Are we with the right people? And is this worth pursuing? I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely does. I hope our listeners wrote some points there down, because I found that fascinating. The two different approaches, right, and what you're asking of a potential client to do, spot on. That was awesome. So then what naturally ties in with lead generation is awareness and generating awareness. So selfishly, for my own understanding, I want to ask, how does one generate attention for a business? Does it have to cost an arm and a leg, or can it be free or minimal fees?
You're always going to be choosing to either leverage time or money to do this, really. So if you are someone who is a young solopreneur and you love making content, you love being out there and, you know, grinding every day, you can follow that Gary Vaynerchuk style of post content, document everything, DM 180 people a day and just grind. And that works. For me, that doesn't fit my life goals. You know, I don't want to be doing that. So I'm always one to leverage money instead. And it does not have to be much at all. So let's say you're looking for engagement and to build an audience. One of the best ways to do it is with like we said, that top of the funnel lead magnet campaign. Put out something that's valuable to people, and then use Facebook or Instagram or YouTube marketing to put it in front of the right people. And that's where the leverage comes in. You can absolutely choose, I can choose people who are interested in coaching, who live in Australia, who are between the ages of 25 and 45, who own a Facebook page. Generally, that's going to be the right sort of people. And I can put my content in front of them. Now, whether that's a video that just gets views and creates an audience for me, or it is something that actually captures some details and some data to move them down the funnel, it's a very, very effective way of doing it. You are using money, but you're getting in front of the right people immediately. So no, it doesn't have to cost heaps of money. You can go either way. And generally, you can get followers and page likes from real people quite cheaply. But I don't think you need to have a huge following to do well with an online business. You just need to have credibility. So if someone comes back to your page and you put out an ad and you've got 17 likes on your page and no content, then they're probably going to be a little less likely to follow up on that ad. But if they come to my page, for example, and they've clicked on my ad and they come back and I post, podcasts and videos every day and I give value and I've got a few thousand followers on there, there's that credibility there. So I think followers is, if you want followers for the sake of followers, go and just do a page likes campaign and get worldwide followers and increase that social proof, I suppose. But you can be just as effective with 249 really relevant followers who are in your market as you can with 100,000 people from Pakistan, if that makes sense.
Awesome. So I've got a question for you that I love asking everyone, I guess, and I'm curious to hear your answer, seeing as To the Moon has that kind of niche focused market. If you could work with any business or brand in the world, what's your dream client to hopefully one day work with?
That's a cool question. You know who I'm loving at the moment is I'm loving this guy called Jocko Willink. Yep. I don't know if you know who Jocko.
I'm familiar with him.
Okay, so for context, anyone listening, Jocko Willink is an ex-Navy SEAL. He's the absolute definition of tough guy, but he's a solid businessman as well. He kind of runs a consulting business. He writes heaps of books and he writes children's books, and he's constantly releasing products and services that just have a really ethical story behind them. So he makes clothing now, and he does it in a way that costs him heaps of money because he hires all American people and uses all American ingredients, materials and machinery, that sort of thing. All his energy supplements are really, really crazy natural, and it's all ethical. And he's just a good dude with a great mission, and he motivates the heck out of me. So I think if I could help, I don't see how I'd help him because he's doing really well by himself. But if I could be on board with, someone like that who speaks on stages, get them in front of more people, get people going down onto his email list and learn and getting inside his head, that'd be great. That's one of the funnest things about marketing and being a copywriter, is that I've adapt into the mindset of whoever I'm working with. So if I'm writing copy for a 30-year-old single mum who is into law of attraction, I have to write like her. If I'm writing like a 55-year-old Englishman who's teaching people to trade Forex, then I've got to write like him. So if I could get inside the head of a motivated, hardcore individual like Jocko, I'd be a really happy dude.
That's really cool. He's definitely the type of person that I always think of this scenario. If you could have a coffee meeting for 1 hour and pick, any 3 people to join you, he's the type of person you'd want in that meeting. Just to get some time to speak with him would be so valuable for sure. Now, I understand you have a podcast of your own. So before I let you go, the floor is yours. What is the name of your podcast? A little overview of it, and where can people listen to it?
Thank you, Ben. My podcast is called Coaches to the Moon. And so it is a coaching podcast, but we're trying to be more about the business of coaching rather than the actual personal development side of it, which is a great part of it. But when I was a coach, I didn't have that much tangible advice I could find on actually the structural business side of it. It was more so when you start a coaching business, you've got to go down to the beach at 5 a.m. and do heaps of push-ups if you want to be successful. But it kind of isn't the case, because whenever I did that, I was broke. So what I'm doing is I'm blessed with a lot of guests from all over the world who are successful coaches, consultants in a lot of different spaces, who have a lot of different business models. And we ask them about how they've grown the business, and really try and get tangible nuggets of value for the listeners. So it's on Spotify and Apple and Anchor to listen to it. But when we go live, we stream it across 2 Facebook pages, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, everywhere. So we're trying to be pretty omnipresent. So if you search To The Moon Digital on anything, then you should come across the podcast pretty quickly.
Excellent. Definitely recommend that one to the people listening. Well, brilliant. Alex, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. It certainly opened my eyes to all the different possibilities with digital marketing. And I'm sure our listeners can take away some key tips and implement them in their business right away. So thank you so much for everyone for listening, and we will see you next time on the LVLing Up Vodcast. Goodbye.